When I started my YouTube channels, I wanted my wife Benedicta to be with me in some of the videos that I made, and so I thought, well, that shouldn't be hard. I knew how to use these type of microphones, lav mics. I thought I'll put a lav mic on her, I'll put a lav mic on me, and problem solved. We'll get good audio from both of us. And I was surprised and saddened by the fact that when we did lav mics, one on each of us, the sound wasn't very good. Now, right now, you're just hearing me. But if I plug in this lav mic that's on my little football player friend here, you should notice that the audio quality just took a hit. It's not as good. It's got more echo. It sounds like it's been recorded in a barrel. And if you don't notice that, why, it's probably because you're listening on your phone, and phones don't give you a very accurate representation of audio. But I was dismayed. I thought, man, that's terrible. This doesn't work at all. What I didn't realize in those days was the issue of microphone bleed, mic bleed. And the reason this isn't very good audio is because I'm being picked up by two microphones. My microphone, which is what I want and what makes me sound the best, but I'm also being picked up by this other microphone. And the sound doesn't sound so good. So I quickly realized this just doesn't work very well. Now, this isn't a problem if we were across the couch from each other, if we had some distance between us. But when you're standing together, you just don't get good sound when you're both wearing lavalier mics. Now, there is one thing you could do that will help some, and that is you get that lavalier mic up as close to your collar, as close to your mouth as you possibly can, and turn the gain down. The closer the lav mic is to your mouth, the better you will sound. Sometimes I'll see people on the news with their lav mic way down, halfway down their shirt, and I'm like, why would you have your mic that low? Because you introduce more ambient noise and problems. So if you have to use a lav mic, and once in a while we'll have our lav mics up about as high as we can get them. So, and we turn the gain down on the mic, on the recorder, and that will help. But better still is using this, and this is only one mic, so there's no way for the mic to bleed into another microphone. And I just position this between us, and we get very fine audio as long as I can get it close enough to us. So that is one solution. If you happen to be sitting beside each other, which sometimes Ben and I will do, this is the worst possible way to have your mic set up if you're using desktop mics. Again, I'll normally just use this thing right here and problem solved. But if you do use what are known as desktop mics, desktop stands, and you've got them pointed just straight at your mouth, you're going to get microphone bleed and the sound suffers. So one solution is, if you have to sit close together, aim your mics this way so that this mic is pulling from this direction and this mic is pulling from this direction, and you don't get nearly as much mic bleed. One other tip to help avoid mic bleed is to use dynamic microphones rather than condenser. Dynamic microphones tend not to pick up so much room noise, ambient noise, and every other kind of noise except what's right in front of them. Again, get the mic as close to your mouth as possible. Don't have it 12 inches away. Have it right up there on your mouth, and then turn your recording gain down. Here is an example of how Ben and I do our Bible studies. Using microphones that are nearly opposite each other and keeping them within a few inches of our mouths, there is very little microphone bleed. So this is not an issue if you're doing YouTube videos by yourself. It becomes an issue when you use somebody else, such as an interview. One other little tip, if you're using a lavalier type microphone, lav mic, if you could possibly have one over here, so if they're over here, there's more distance between you. But the main thing is just make sure you get it up very, very close to your mouth Better still is to use one of these pencil mics overhead, just out of the frame of the camera. The camera never sees it. Nobody even sees a mic. They may wonder, what are they doing? I don't see them using any kind of a mic. And usually that's the case when Ben and I are together, and the mic is over our heads and you just don't see it. So, mic bleed. If you're going to do all your videos all by yourself, you don't have to worry about that. But if you're going to involve somebody else, that is a consideration.